First question is about the Federal Reserve, and it's from Jim. Jim says, would it be possible for the Federal Reserve to become part of the U.S. government, thus leaving the taxpayers with the $7 trillion of debt that the Fed currently holds on its books?
Yeah, well, that's a distinction without a difference, the Federal Reserve becoming part of the US government. As you're probably aware, it was formed in 1913 between several big banks. I don't know how many there were, 4 or 5, and who owned half of the Federal Reserve nominally, and the US government. And the earnings of the Federal Reserve, I mean, they're supposed to be a profit-making institution. Those earnings above what they spend, which is a couple $1 billion a year to pay all their hangers on, that's returned to the US Treasury. So, gee, it looks like a good deal. But it's a distinction without a difference. It actually is part of the US government. And the advantage to the bank's point of view, since they don't earn on anything on it directly, is they get to influence the Fed's policy that way. It's forget about it merging into the US government and all this type of thing. I mean, it should be abolished. Forget about all these things. And eventually it's going to blow up. So
It'll end up being abolished essentially because it'll be destroyed by under its own weight, along with probably our whole financial system, unfortunately.
that's exactly correct. So you're
Okay.
not, I appreciate the question, Jim, but I don't think you're thinking big enough in this case.
Boy, and I'll say the last year has definitely demonstrated to me my own deficiencies in thinking big enough about what could happen. And I think that this whole, the COVID, between the COVID hysteria and, the increasing the monetary base by something like 30% in the last 10 months, these things are, I didn't even know, I didn't think big enough about these. So it seems to be something Jim and I both need to work on, I think, is thinking bigger.
Yeah, everybody does.